but I had to go ahead and just say something. So the first thing I want to say is, number one, thank you everyone for supporting the work that your brother does and all the work that everyone does within our community. Whoever is doing good work, I truly appreciate each and every one of you for doing good work. Whoever that is, however that is, I truly appreciate all of the good work that you do. I will also say that as of right now, just know that the censorship is about to turn up in a major way, as we have told everyone it would. As we have told everyone it absolutely would. Now, a lot of people didn't understand this. A lot of people really didn't believe what we were saying years ago about the censorship. Many of you really thought that some people were exaggerating. Some people were just making conspiracy theory arguments. The reason why I wrote this book, for those of you who don't have it, for those of you who do not have it, RizaIslam.com, RizaIslam.com. If you're on Instagram, click the link in the bio on Instagram. If you're on YouTube, RizaIslam.com. I wrote this book because they were going to target, and they have been targeting, Black people, and particularly within our generation. And what they stated is that this generation has what is called BIEs, Black Identity Extremists. So in the year of 2017, in August, the FBI classified Black people who love who we are, love our people, love our culture, love our history, and who are not going to lie down and take abuse and take police domestic terrorism, and who are going to stand up and defend ourselves if need be, not aggress upon, meaning not start the fight. But if you bring the fight to us, they are now labeling us as Black identity extremists. Put a note in that. That was in 2017 in August. The moment I heard that, and I heard the FBI was going to classify us as that, what I heard was the modern justification to reinstitute COINTELPRO. Now, the movie Judas and the Black Messiah, I'm not going to delve into that yet, but this is what I put in chapter 3 due to that circumstance, due to what the government was saying. Chapter 3 here. Everyone type in the chapter 3's description. What is the title of chapter 3? Instagram. What is the title of chapter 3? The title of chapter 3 is Who really wants to be conscious? The reason why I asked this question and I made that a title of a chapter and then I delved into it is because a lot of people talk, right? We have a lot of people on YouTube, a lot of people talk. Social media, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, all these social media platforms have made a very wide environment for talkers. Not doers, really, but talkers for the most part. So people who are running around yelling conscious, 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 or now people say woke, woke, woke. That wasn't a thing, just so you know. That wasn't a thing. That's very new. But for those who have been yelling woke, 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 and conscious, 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 you have two categories. You have those that do, and you have those that speak. You have those that do, and you have those that speak. You then sometimes have those in between. Those who speak and do to back up what it is that they speak. So I'm in that category, right? I'm not the only one. There are plenty of people out here from multiple organizations and groups who have been doing the work and who talk about what needs to be talked about because they back it up with their actions. So that's the group that I belong to, the activists, the researchers, the independent researchers, now author, right? Then you have the group of those who just talk. People behind a computer screen, like this is my cell phone, this is not a computer. And no shade to those who do it from behind a computer. My point is describing and separating the categories. If you are a person that simply speaks, not a problem. If you are a person that simply does the work. Like the majority of those who I roll with who don't even have social media, not a problem. If you are those who speak and do the work to back up the words that you are speaking, that's the best you could ever have. Those who put into action the words that they are speaking. Now, why am I saying that? People are referring to the Black Panther Party all of a sudden in 2021. They're bringing out this story. Now, again, I wrote this in 2017 primarily because of them planning to censor. Primarily. That was the reasoning behind writing this. Because I said they're going to censor what we're putting up, what we're posting, what we're talking about. So the only way to get back to the information of it being put in your hand is to write a book, to get it physical, to get off of the digital realm, because they control it. They never wanted the internet to be free. They never wanted the internet to be utilized by people who are active within the community, changing the conditions that they themselves benefit from. So they continue to create those conditions, and we are now fighting back against them by providing solutions to the people, right? That was never the intent. The intent was to control the minds of the people, while at the same time making the people believe that it was free, and making the people believe that the government actually gives a damn about you finding out about your cousin over in Georgia, talking to your family that you haven't spoken to all the way in Florida, meeting up with a long lost friend you haven't seen in 10, 20 years, or somebody you went to school with, etc. They don't care about that. That's not their agenda. That has nothing to do with the reality. The reality is we are losing control of the people. Therefore, we must utilize the system of psychology and psychiatry to control the majority of the minds of the people and to manipulate them in a way where they will accept it. This is what we're dealing with. So in this century that we are now in, the question is, who really wants to be conscious? Because people are talking now about Fred Hampton. Well, let me make this very clear for those of you who watched the movie. Number one, I was very pleasantly surprised at how accurate it was. They told the truth. Number two, Daniel Kaluuya, he did a very good job of portraying Fred Hampton. Fred Hampton, for those who may not know, was a Muslim. His mother, in an interview on YouTube, a very old interview, she talked about his upbringing. She talked about what he would do, what he would use to do, his normal way of operating. He was a Muslim. He rolled with the nation, okay, at an early age. He loved to draw. He was an artist. He was a rapper. He loved to rap. This is Fred Hampton. Okay, this is a young dude. He was a teenager, right? Frederick Hampton was his name. And this brother, you've seen videos of him speaking, but you have to understand that there's something different about a person who's willing to stand outside and do this with the people. Not only to stand outside, because a lot of people think that standing on the corner yelling at people is doing something. No. They don't really give a damn. They really don't care, just so you know, about us talking generally about general things. They don't actually care. What they care about is what you talk about that helps to bring their world down. What you talk about that helps them to lose money. What you talk about that helps them to lose control over the food, the agriculture. What you talk about that helps them to remove the ability of them to manipulate and control the minds of your children. What you talk about that helps to change the direction of policies. What you talk about that helps to inspire others to become free and independent, not just by generally talking, but laying down the groundwork, giving out the actual blueprints. It's not just talking. It's not just, oh, the white man, this, the white man, that. It ain't just that. It's not that. That is general. And a lot of people talk. Again, you have a lot of talkers. But when you are targeting the specific things that affect the bottom line of this system, specific things, they will get at you. They will censor you in multiple ways. They will attack your financial base. They will come after your money. They will attack your family. They will stalk your children. They will profile you where you work. They will make sure they look at your habits, your daily habits, where you go, what you eat, who you have around you. This is not a game. It's not a joke. They still do it today. This is an actual fact. Fred Hampton, as some may or may not know, when it comes to the movie, they were accurate in the movie. They were accurate about virtually everything that was going on. William O'Neill, the FBI agent. Let me make it very clear. The Black Panther Party still exists today. It is not the original Black Party. Black Panther Party is now called the New Black Panther Party. And it still exists today in certain capacities in certain cities. All right. Outside of that, you have the Moorish Science Temple. Outside of that, you have the Hebrew Israelites. Outside of that, you have the Nawabians. Outside of that, you have the Nation of Islam. Outside of that, you have multiple Christian churches. Outside of that, you have this group, the Sunni Muslims, the Shiite Muslims. Outside of that, you have all of these different groups, all of these different so-called conscious, so-called woke, so-called enlightened, intelligent, knowledgeable organizations, different directives, possibly different ideologies or different areas of the same ideology, because what we all have in common is freedom. We want justice. We want equality, not equality with the white man, equality with the best in civilized society. And those who are the original civilizers of society happen to be us, the original man and woman. So we want that. That is what we want. That is what we need. In order to get that, you must be able to feed your own people. You must be able to clothe your own people. You must be able to employ your own people. You must be able to protect and secure your own people. You must be able to do things to where you do not have to rely on anyone else. That is true revolution. That's being woke. That's what consciousness is. It's not a feeling. It's not a state of intellectual masturbation, where all you're doing is talking about things that make you sound intelligent to impress other people, get people riled up, make them feel real good, get emotional. Oh my God, I love how he's talking. I love how she's talking. No. I must provide solutions to the things that are affecting my people. That is what this government fears the most. They don't give a damn about us just talking. I'm saying this as someone who does talk, but I don't just talk. That is what they are truly afraid of. So Brother Fred Hampton, being a Muslim by religious, spiritual philosophy and ideology, per his mother, again in an interview, with his mother, an old black and white interview, being a Panther by political ideology, being a rapper or a poet, an intellect, being a gifted speaker and one who wanted to unite all oppressed people. That brother had more fire than many or most of those who talk today, because it came from a genuine place. Money was not number one. The people was number one. Fame had nothing to do with it. The people had everything to do with it. Being seen had nothing to do with it entirely. Being effective had everything to do with it. And again, it was all power to the people. He said white power to white people, brown power to brown people, yellow power to yellow people, black power to black people. Okay. He was 21 years old when he was murdered. December 4th, 4:45 a.m., the police raided his apartment. 4:45 a.m., they know how black people are, they study us. 4:45 a.m. They raided the apartment, and as they raided the apartment, riddling the apartment with bullets, shooting everywhere. They located which room he was in. They got the tip off. They had the blueprint of the entire apartment due to the information given to them by William O'Neill. Before I continue on that area, let us veer off into this area. Are there still government agents who work on behalf of the FBI who are inside of each and every black organization right now that I have mentioned and others that I have not mentioned? The answer is a resounding hell yes. Every, per the words of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, every, not only black organization, but black gang has been infiltrated. Every single one. The reason why I'm really saying what I'm saying is so you can understand that what happened back then is still happening now. It has not ended. What you saw, was a cinematic version on an historical documentation type of circumstance that is a historical understanding of a present truth and present reality, a past reality of a present reality, meaning what happened back then not just is going to happen, but is happening. Are there government agents who have infiltrated the Nation of Islam? Of course. No duh. Black Panthers? Absolutely. Moorish Science Temple? Damn right. Nawabians? Absolutely. Hebrew Israelites? Of course. Any black organization that exists has been infiltrated by the FBI. That is the goal. That's what they do. The problem is the Negroes that are willing to infiltrate. My major premise and reasoning for even doing this live tonight is so you and everyone who is watching can actually think and understand that we have people among us with the mentality that they would rather not only sell us out, but they would rather get some of us killed than face the consequences of their own actions. There are people today, and you can ask them, just ask some of your friends, your family right next to you, ask them. If you stole something, nobody but you stole something, and you got caught, and the police said, hey, check this out, listen, wait a minute, hold on, listen. You don't have to go to jail, don't worry. This is all you need to do. See, you know that organization over there that's causing all these problems for us? You don't have to go to jail for that 3 years, that 7 years, that 10 years. All you need to do is go find out as much information as you can in that organization. And as you get into that organization, rise to the highest level that you can rise to. And as you're gradually rising, gradually sow seeds of division, sow seeds of lies, sow seeds of distrust among every member, but start with the highest members. Start with them, and then of course gradually, wherever it is, every location, do your best to go in from the bottom all the way to the top. Do that. Sow seeds until you witness them fighting among one another. See, this is what the white man did to us. I want to make it very clear. That is the 6,000 plus year history of the Caucasian. This is what he did in the Holy Land. He caused mischief and the shedding of blood by the telling of lies. It's what they do. It's not even a second guess. It's not even a question. They're good at it. They use what's called the third party law. A third party is an unseen, hidden person who creates division between two or more parties, individuals, or groups. And when you see these two people going back and forth arguing, 9 times out of 10, there is a hidden third person or party causing the division and the arguments between each other. This happens in your life and you don't know it. This happens in groups and organizations and they don't know it. This happens when it comes to all of our black organizations and we don't know it because we continue to think that because things are made into a cinematic form that it doesn't have a real reality factor. And the reality is that this is happening today. That's the reality. It's happening today. So again, I'm saying that part because William O'Neal was one of the FBI agents when it comes to the Black Panther Party. Remember, Eugene Roberts was the FBI informant when it came to Brother Malcolm X. You had R.R. Moulton as a U.S. Army officer who was an informant when it came to, I believe, not W.E.B. Du Bois, but Booker T. Washington. Marcus Garvey had an FBI agent who was an informant into the UNIA that helped him to do a bad business deal when it came to the ships of the UNIA and helped to crumble his movement financially and then he was deported. Every single time there was an informant. There was someone among our people who was willing to work with the enemy. Every time they were either willing to do it to get time off of their time that they were going to get convicted for, or they were willing to do it so that they wouldn't get killed. They were willing to do it because they cared about their family, but they were willing to sacrifice everyone else's. So I'm not saying to distrust our people. I'm saying find out exactly who the hell you are. Find out who you are and look at exactly what your intention is. Start looking at everything when it comes to the people, and let's be real. Be factual when you're talking. Be absolutely factual when you're talking, and be factual with yourself and be honest with yourself. Because the same way they did this back then, and I'm watching, I'm listening to people. How can you spot a person who wants to create division? Well, obviously, look at our people who speak against our people on a consistent basis. Just watch them. Every time somebody wants to bring up coming together and doing things for us as a people, I'm saying black people helping black people. Watch the black person who is always trying to create division among our people when our people are coming together. Watch that black person, male or female, who continues to create division among us. I'm not talking about white folk. That's what they do naturally. That's obvious. They always do that. That's natural. So we should expect that from them. But then again, there are some of our people. Judas, for those of you who don't know, in the book of Matthew in the Bible, for those who read the Bible, again, you don't have to be a Christian to read the Bible. You don't have to be a Muslim to read the Holy Quran. You don't have to be a Hindu to read any of their scriptures. Read the books to get the knowledge and call yourself whatever you want. But in order for you to understand where your people are, their mentality is, and why they are the way they are, you must look at what it is that they have in their head. The majority of black folks have been indoctrinated with the King James Version of the Bible. If you don't know that, if you don't know something about that Bible, then to that degree, you will not be able to reach a large percentage of your people. Some of our people understand certain things about that, others do not. But in the book of Matthew, I believe it's the 26th chapter, the 15th verse. It talks about Judas and the 30 pieces of silver that he sold Jesus out for. Be mindful. Judas was not some random person who just came on behalf of the enemy and just sold out Jesus. Judas was a friend of Jesus. Judas was a homeboy. He was hanging out with them. He was eating dinner with them. He was in Jesus's crew. To put it in a modern text, a modern context, he was one of the close people around him. Somebody who Jesus, he gained his trust. He was his partner. For those of you who believe that. Some of you are like, well, Jesus didn't exist or he did exist. So what? Get the idea, get the understanding. This is the reality. They use the person who can get in to get your trust. They do the same thing with the whole experimental vaccine circumstance. They use a black person to do it. They use us to get at us again. So don't be paranoid about our people, but be mindful of the intent. So Judas sold out Jesus for 30 pieces of silver. Well, in today's time, you're talking about 30 pieces of silver. That's probably roughly between $320 to probably $500. So Judas sold Jesus out back then to the equivalent of what we were referred to as between $320 to $500. He sold them out for that. Okay. Today people sell out people sometimes for the same, sometimes for less, sometimes for more. Again, the movie was referring to a historical circumstance that actually happened.